Welcome back, everybody. Senator Ron Wyden joins us on set. Senator, good to have you here.
Thanks for having me back.
Well, there's plenty going on in Washington,
D.C. Not anything
to
talk about, right?
And let's kick it off with the tariffs. President Trump announcing this morning that he wants to put another $100 billion in tariffs against China. China firing back. We always hear how this is affecting the Midwest farmers, the soybean farmers, and they're not happy about it. How does it affect the folks here in the Northwest farmers and the makers of goods here?
It is really high-stakes stuff for us. 1 out of 5 jobs in Oregon depends on international trade, and the trade jobs often pay better than do the non-trade jobs. So what we have to do is we have to make sure we get a policy that protects us against Chinese abuses. China, for example, has ripped off our intellectual property, and they make it very tough for our businesses to do business in China as well. I just got off the phone with Bob Lighthizer, the U.S. Trade Representative, because we have a consultation process on an ongoing basis. There are 60 days, Jeff, to work this out. And my view is there's a real opportunity to protect our businesses. I mean, we had SolarWorld, a big company hacked by the Chinese, to protect our companies and make sure that we can grow things here, make things here, add value to them here, and ship them all over the world because the world loves Oregon products.
All right.
I want to talk gun violence because that's also something that's in the headlines recently. You and Merkley were at Reynolds High School yesterday, which of course had a school shooting about 4 years ago. You call these sessions listening to the future. And you actually started that years ago.
I did. After the 2013 government shutdown, I thought it was a ridiculous, needless shutdown. I just walked off the floor. They said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "I'm going to go home and talk to some mature people. I'm going to talk to the high school students." That began our Listening to the Future program. And yes, what we were talking about yesterday were common sense approaches to deal with gun violence.
Well, and you said that something will pass without the Democratic majority.
I do believe it's going to be different this time. We were just a few votes short, and what is most important is to keep the guns out of the hands of people who shouldn't have them. People with mental health challenges, people who've been involved in domestic violence, somebody who's on a terrorist watch list. We need an airtight, loophole-free system of having background checks to keep guns out of the hands of those people. We're only a few votes short the last time we had a vote, and I think we can get them now.
Okay, let's talk about Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg's company really under fire for what it did with people's personal information. He's going to be testifying before a House committee and the Senate next week. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, my sense is you're not going to solve a big problem with little solutions. And I think what is most important is that they fulfill their promise, which they clearly have breached. I mean, you can see Mark Zuckerberg on TV, online, making this pledge that individuals would control their own data, that they couldn't use your data unless you gave an affirmative indication that they could. They clearly have breached it. I think making sure that people can control their own data, their own information, is the key to real reform.
A lot of responsibility on them, but how much responsibility is on us? I don't know too many people since this news is broke that have gone into their Facebook accounts and really changed their security settings.
Well, I think there is a lot of concern. I'm a strong supporter of two-factor authentication, which is really key, and we're working with our small businesses to promote it. But I think that we have seen, given the fact that these companies didn't police their platforms during the election, now we're seeing the Facebook issue. They're going to have to step up. And by the way, I wrote a law, Section 230, that gave them more power to police their platforms. They better use it.
All right. Senator, always good when you stop by.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for your thoughts.
Yeah,
Look forward to talking to you.
And earlier this week, too, we spoke to Oregon's Republican Congressman Greg Wyden about his committee's upcoming interview, by the way, with Mark Zuckerberg. You can find that interview right now on our website, KOIN.com.